video for all of this unit for everything from what we're doing now in class so you can understand it to the test coming up. I've been looking at your homework, so I'm looking specifically to see how you're doing in your proofs. And truth and love is the kind of guy that I am. I am a tough love, old-fashioned kind of guy. These proofs are not good enough. You're going to be disappointed with your test grade, and you're definitely not getting out of this what I'm hoping for you to get out of it. Proofs are about deductive reasoning. It's about a very rigorous, structured process that allows you to build truth upon truth to arrive at a conclusion that cannot be argued with. That applies to every course that you take. It applies to history. It applies to science. Maybe not so much art and English, but for many subjects where you have to state your case and try to demonstrate, quo este demonstratum, from the Latin, that which was asked to be demonstrated. You need deductive reasoning for that. And these proofs focus on deductive reasoning. Now, what is our process? How do we do this? Our structure is always the same. And this is where I think those who are having the most trouble are finding their trouble. And I've said this multiple times, but I think it's like going right over you and you're not focusing on it. This is of critical importance, so pay attention. I used to have a pastor at church years ago. He used to go, if there's one thing you're going to get out of this sermon today, this is what it is. Write this down. Not that this is a sermon, it's not. But if there's one thing you're going to get out of this lesson this week in the beginning, it's always, anything unclear about that? Always, okay, you can look at the picture, but put your focus on the given. Focus on that given and use it each piece of the given one step at a time. Step one, given, DB bisects angle ABC. What are we talking about there? Well, BD, this line down the middle, is splitting angle ABC in half. Now, a bisector means to split something in half. I use the word, this is why it's so important to focus on the given. I see the word bisect, and I immediately use it in the reason. That's why I bolded the word bisect, or emboldened the word bisect. Bisects. That's what you want. That's why I focus on the given, because it's telling me what to do. DB bisects angle ABC. So angle ABC gets split in half. The two halves of the angle are angles 3 and 4. So angle 3 is going to be congruent to angle 4 because a bisector divides into two congruent segments. Okay, there was the first piece of the given. That's where I put my focus. I focus in there, right there on the given. That's what I look at. Bam! I use it. I put it up on the screen. There it is. Okay, what do I do next? Well, what I do next is I look at the given. I see, oh, they still got stuff I haven't touched yet. BD is perpendicular to AC. Now, what does perpendicular mean? Well, when two lines are perpendicular, it means that they make right angles. So BD, it's a busy line segment, this BD, he's perpendicular to AC. So that means that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because those are the right angles. Why? Look, here it is. I'm focusing on the given. Here it is. See, there's the symbol, perpendicular. Bam! There's the word in the reason right there. I go perpendicular, perpendicular. The previous step, it was bisect, bisect. Here's perpendicular, perpendicular. If I saw the word midpoint, I would go midpoint, midpoint. Whatever it says in the given, bam, I put it into the reasons. Now, what do perpendicular lines make? Congruent right angles. Every right angle on the earth measures 90 degrees, so they're all congruent to each other. Angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent because perpendicular lines form congruent right angles. Now, I've used up all the given. And remember, I mentioned you can put little check marks next to them if you want. Once the given is used up, now you say, okay, I need to pivot and I need to think strategy here. I can look for vertical angles. I can look for reflexive, or I can look for pairs of linear pairs. Now, pairs of linear pairs are straight lines with congruent angles and multiple sets of them. There's none of those in this diagram. We will get to one eventually, but not today. The next thing I look for is vertical angles. Vertical angles make an X, and they're the angles across from each other. I don't see that either. But reflexive is whenever two triangles share a side or an angle in common. And in this case, they share a side in common. So BD is congruent to BD by reflexive. Reflexive is a shorthand way of saying anything equals itself. And I mark it with an X. One thing that I have seen that you guys are pretty good at is using reflexive. And it's almost a dead giveaway that you're not listening to me. When students start writing reflexive right away, it means they're looking at the picture right away. Because that's where you find reflexive, is in the picture. And that's the exact opposite of the best way to go about doing it. It is the worst way to do it. The best way to do this is to look at the given, use the given. I see the word bisect in the given, step 2 uses bisector. I see perpendicular in the given, step 3 uses perpendicular. Okay, I've used it all up. Now that I've used it all up, only now will I begin to look for reflexive. And I use it. The problem is, when people look at the diagram for reflexive, they're putting all of their focus onto the diagram. What are they not paying attention to? They're not paying attention to that given. And if they're not paying attention to the given, they're missing exactly what the person who made the question up said. Hey, I better put this in there or they're not going to get it right. And you're completely ignoring it. You're looking at the picture. And that's how kids get proofs wrong. So your first focus has to be on the given. And we'll come back to that in just a minute. Now, once I have this done, I notice that that side, BD, with the X on it, is nestled right in between two angles. So that's the S between two A's, which means that the triangles are congruent by angle side angle is congruent to angle side angle. See? Angle, 304, side, BD, angle, 1 or 2. So the side BD is between angles 3 and 1 or 2 and 4. Therefore, they're congruent by ASA. And peanut butter jelly, as soon as you see ASA, that means that AB is congruent to CB by CPC-TC. So how do I summarize everything that I've gone through in this proof? Here's your summary strategy. The most important thing you can do is look at the given. Use every single piece of it. They did not give you the given so that you would look at the picture. They gave you the given because it is what you need to arrive at your conclusion. And even if it's not true 100% of the time, it's true 99% of the time. So why try to do it the 1% way? Do it the 99% way. Then check it off as you use it in the given. Finally, you focused on the given. You used the given. You used the stuff the guy or the girl that made up the question for you said, these guys need this stuff. You used it. Now you can take your focus off of the given because it's used. You can look at the diagram and you can say, all right, let me see. Do I have vertical angles here? Maybe I can find a reflexive. What about pairs of linear pairs? What do I got here? How do kids get it wrong? The first thing they do is they look at the diagram. And oh yeah, they'll recognize a reflexive. They will. They'll recognize vertical angles. And then they keep looking at the diagram. And they keep staring at the diagram like it's the Mona Lisa or the Last Supper. And they keep staring at it, appreciating what a wonderful, fine diagram it is. And what they need is sitting in the given. Don't get caught up looking at the picture. First focus is the given. Use every single piece of the given. Once the given is done, then and only then do you begin to start saying stuff about looking for reflexive and vertical angles. I actually want to go backwards for a second here before I kill this video. I would like to see your statements and reasons structured like this. A, it's easier for me to follow so I can tell if you're getting it right or wrong. And B, it's very much giving you a structure that you can use repeatedly, grow comfortable with, and that you'll get the questions right. I'm seeing what almost looks like scribble and notes put under to the side of the diagram. That's not what we're looking for, okay? All right, one more time. First things first, use every piece of the given. Check it off if you've used it so that you know you don't need to use it again. Only when you're done looking at the given. Only when you've used up everything the person who made up the question wants you to use to have to get the question right. Only at that point in time do you begin to focus on the diagram. The first focus is on the given. Next piece is on the diagram. You look at it, you say, okay, Let me find my vertical angles. Let me find my reflexive. Maybe I got a pair of linear pairs. That's how you go about doing this. Like I said, the pastor used to say at church, if you want to get one thing out of the sermon this week, focus on the given first. Focus on it no matter what you do. And when you're done focusing on the given, only at that point in time do you start looking at the picture, focusing on the picture. If you focus on that picture first, you are off to a horrible start, and you will most likely, very most likely, not get the proof right.